Hey everybody, before I get started, I just want to mention a couple of ways that you can engage with me on a more personal level. I have a few avenues set up and I keep focusing on one, and I figured, why don't I make a short little video talking about all of them real quick before we get into these episodes. So first thing, Patreon. There's a link in the episode description, and every episode description to the Patreon, as well as a video on the feed called Major Announcement that has all the details of what each tier offers and how much they cost. I implore you to check that out. I offer a lot of cool shit for my patrons. Second thing, the Discord channel. There's also a Discord link in the episode description, and in every episode description, I have multiple channels set up there for each show that I'm covering, and it's a great way to just engage with me. I have a channel set up for MMA talk as well. I'm a big MMA fan, so if you're an MMA fan, you can check that out as well. There's a link to the Discord in the episode description. And then lastly, the Facebook and Twitter. Social media. Follow me on there. I post news on there. When I say news, I mean like, hey, I'm stopping covering this show. Hey, I'm starting covering this show. Let me know what you think about this. I do live watches of things on Facebook where like I'll check in and say, I'm watching so-and-so show. And then I'll like live comment while I'm watching it. And that'll be cool if maybe you watch that show too and you want to watch along with me, or you're watching it later and you will see my thoughts, which are usually pretty entertaining because I'm usually pretty high when I'm writing them. So check out all those links in each episode description, and let's talk about this episode. Peace.
One mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey patrons, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here with the 5th installment of my Mike's Musings video series, and this week I'm going to talk about, let's see, what do we have here? We have Bel-Air, season 2 of that, which is a Peacock show. I'll be talking about Beef, which was a limited series that aired on Netflix earlier this year. I will talk about Rabbit Hole, a show on Paramount Plus starring Kiefer Sutherland. Let's see, show you guys have probably all heard of it. It's been around for a while. This is the 4th season, a Netflix original, I believe. No, actually, I think they got that. I think they got You from like overseas or something like that. But yeah, Netflix, and then White House Plumbers, which was on HBO. So, and then actually, before I even get into that, let me tell you guys real quick what's going to be on the next one, too. So that way you can kind of know why you're here. Like, okay, this is what I can expect to hear next week. So next week's Mike's Musings will be, I'll talk about Dead Ringers, which is the Amazon Prime show starring Rachel Weiss. She's playing twins. Bupkis, which was a comedy on Peacock starring Pete Davidson. Love and Death, which was on HBO with Elizabeth Olsen. I get the last names confused, but I have to remember she's the sister of the Olsen twins. That's how I remember. Dear Mama, which was a documentary about Tupac that was on Hulu. And season 3 of I Think You Should Leave, the Tim Robinson sketch comedy on Netflix. So that's the next Mike's Musing. So let's get into this one. I said I was going to put these out on Wednesdays. I recorded the last one ahead of time, and I intended on recording this one ahead of time as well, but I wasn't able to. But I'm like, I'll be able to record it and get it out on Wednesday, and I'll still meet the deadline that I gave myself. And just like Earth just collaborated, everyone on Earth just collaborated to fuck me on Wednesday to where I would not get back in time to get this done. So that's why this is a day late, but my plan is to get the next one recorded ahead of time, so that way it'll be out on, well, all of the rest of them, the ones that I scheduled out. So I think I scheduled out 7 maybe. Through 7, through Mike's, so that this one and then 2 more. Yeah, that sounds right. I want to get all those recorded ahead of time so I can not have to worry about that on Wednesdays, but I mean, we'll see what happens. I feel like this thing kind of gets me out of focus a little bit. I don't know. So Bel-Air. So if you're unfamiliar, Bel-Air is born out of a kind of like a viral video that was just something that I guess some person just made that was like, hey, what if Fresh Prince was a drama series? And they made this sketch kind of thing. It was a short video, and it took off. It got really popular on Twitter. And that's kind of what spawned this idea to make this dramatic take on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will Smith saw it. He got behind it, all that good stuff. And that's how we ended up here. So it had a first season, which I'm guessing was fairly successful because a second season happened. And the show is, I would call it like high-end network television caliber. Like, it's not... So, let's start with the premise, right? So, like I said, it's different in that it is a dramatic take on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and in order to make a dramatic take, you got to tweak the characters a little bit. So, like Carlton, for instance, he has a drug problem. Ashley is... I don't know if they've defined Ashley's sexuality necessarily, but at the very least, she is exploring who she is and who she may like. She very clearly has a crush on another female character, but like I said, they don't say like Ashley is gay or something like that. I think she's very fluid and still young and trying to learn who she is. But that's something that they're experimenting with the Ashley character, and Ashley is pretty young on this show, at least young looking. She looks like she's maybe like, I don't know, I want to say she looks like she's about 12, 13, but she's probably like 16, 17 for all I know. Uncle Phil is still a lawyer, but he's not fat anymore. Vivian is an artist. Jeffrey is like, he's not like the butler, but he's more like Uncle Phil's like, if you've seen Pulp Fiction, like the wolf, like his fixer, like his hitman, like I don't know, but he's like Uncle Phil's like guy. Like if you need something done, like send Jeffrey to go do it. Like he's that guy, like the dirty shit. Like Phil's like, I want to get my hands dirty. That's the shit he says Jeffrey to do. And then Will is, as they make him as similar to the Will Smith character from Fresh Prince as they possibly can. The only thing is that and to be clear, I like this actor. Like I think he does a good job. I think he's filling the shoes of a role that is just, I mean, I don't even know if I would want to do it. I don't be like, I don't want to even try to come close to living up to what the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was. But I think given that immense pressure, he's doing a pretty good job. It's just that he lacks Will Smith's natural charisma. And it's something that the Will Smith character on Fresh Prince, it just felt so fluid. And it feels like he's trying too hard. It feels like the characters around him within the show behave as if he's like a real smooth and cool Casanova. But it I don't know. It's like they're like, oh, Will, he's so charming. And I'm just like, not quite. Like, he's trying. But, I mean, it's just at the end of the day, every now and then, you see someone that come along and they just have it. They have whatever it is, whether it be in general or for a specific role or for a specific, maybe they're a singer, whatever. They just have it. Will Smith as Fresh Prince, it was just, like, you're not going to be able to do you're never going to be able to recreate that. That was just him and Jazz and everything that came together with that. To me, I think it is, and I think very highly of Will Smith's work as a rapper, but the Fresh Prince is the best thing he's ever done. I don't care what he thinks. I know he's not terribly proud of his acting on there, but that's the best fucking thing he's ever done, man. And it's a really hard bar to meet. And the guy that plays him on here, he's not there. But at the same time, this show is a lot more dramatic than the Fresh Prince was. And this guy is doing what needs to be done in these dramatic moments. So shout out to him for that. Again, I'm not trying to shade. He ain't gonna see this shit. He's not one of my fucking patrons. But again, I don't want to shade the guy. But yeah, he just. I mean, I'm not trying to shade. Like, all of us lack Will Smith's charisma. So, like, if it was me, if I was a great actor too, I would fully expect somebody to be like, yeah, Mike's doing a great job. He ain't no Will Smith though. Like, none of us are. But like I said, it's kind of like network TV caliber. I don't want to say quality. It's not like you're only going to get so much out of a network television show. Like, they're not going to try to do the things that you know, like these prestige dramas on HBO or FX do. They're not going to try to do that kind of shit. They're just going to, you know, they're going to give you what they give you. And this is that kind of show. It's not going for Emmys or anything like that. It's going for, can people watch this and enjoy it? You know, it's like I said, high level network TV, but with cussing. Like, that's pretty much it. It's entertaining and it's interesting. It's just not doing anything special to where I'd be like, oh, you guys gotta watch this. By no means do you need to watch this. Now, is it like a bad, like, I'm gonna keep watching it. I watched season 1, I watched season 2. If it gets a 3rd season, I'm gonna watch that. I enjoy watching it. I really enjoy putting my comments on Facebook while I'm watching it, and then the people who come in and interact with them, like, I really enjoy that. I enjoy that more than I enjoy the show. But yeah, I'm gonna watch it. It's a perfectly fine show. It's just not something where you have to, like, where I'm gonna sit here and be like, you guys gotta watch this. Like, season 2 had a storyline where Will was trying to get in good with this guy who I think he was like a scout, a basketball scout, or like a coach or a manager or whatever of like a league or whatever, a team where he just kind of had that in with like big time colleges. So it was like kids who went to this guy's program could usually find a pretty good college to play basketball at. And Will tries to get in good with this guy. And the show spent the entire season telling me in a very literal sense, like having Uncle Phil say it, like that this guy was shady and that he was not to be trusted. And they had the characters treat him as a shady person who is not to be trusted. When the whole time, this dude did nothing but try to help Will get into college and play basketball on his team. Like, he only tried to help Will. And they had a thing where it's like, oh, he wants money out of Uncle Phil. Like, well, shame on him for wanting to get paid for helping a kid become a basketball star in college, which is obviously, of course, meant to parlay into the NBA. Like, sorry, I want to get paid for helping your kid get into the NBA. Like, wow, what a piece of shit I am. Like, I don't know. I didn't think this guy was a bad guy. And they kept trying to tell me this guy was a piece of shit. And then at the end of the day, they come to find out that he, he needed the money for an altruistic reason. It wasn't like he wasn't being an asshole. Like, he needed the money for like a good reason. And so, like, all that to say, he ended up not being shady. And I'm just like, yo, this show spent all this time having characters verbally tell me he was shady and treat him like he was shady, but they didn't have the character actually doing shady shit ever. And like, that was really weird to me. I'm like, y'all keep telling me this, but he ain't. I'm not seeing shady guy. I'm just seeing the guy that's helping Will play basketball. But my point is that this show is heavy on trying to tell you how to interpret something rather than just having the characters do that thing that they want you to interpret it as on screen. Like, just have them do that and I'll interpret it that way. But if you have them do something different, don't have other characters tell me a different way to interpret it. Like, I know what you saw, but trust me, he actually shady. Like, it's not gonna work like that for me. Another example in season 2 is the relationship between Jazz and Hillary. So Hillary is like a social media influencer on the show, and Jazz is still Jazz. And they develop a relationship. I think they actually become like boyfriend, girlfriend kind of at some point. But it goes back and forth with ups and downs, whatever the case may be. And in season 2, there's a point where Hillary is clearly inappropriate with an ex-boyfriend of hers who is an NFL player. Jazz understandably reacts, not poorly. I think he just like left. Like, he just left without saying bye. And then for the rest of the season, they try to make it seem like Jazz was in the wrong. And I'm like what? I'm like, okay, you're telling me that Jazz should try to, like, they literally had Will tell Jazz, like, you should try to go make up with Hillary. I'm like, no, Hillary should try to go make up with him. Like, again, you got characters telling me one thing, but what I'm seeing on the screen was a relationship that was going perfectly fine until Hillary's NFL playing ex-boyfriend inserted himself into it, and she allowed him. I don't say she allowed him in. That's going to imply something that I don't want to imply. It didn't go that far. But I was saying she allowed him into her life in a way that was disrespectful to her relationship with Jazz. That's what I saw on the screen. But I got characters telling me, like, he need to go try to make up with Hillary. No, don't do that. Like, if I understand that none of the writers on Bel-Air are my patrons, but if you are, don't do that in season 3. That really annoyed me, to have characters behaving one way and then have characters telling me that I should interpret it a different way. That was really weird. Like I said, if you want to create a situation where Jazz needs to apologize to Hillary, create a situation where Jazz needs to apologize to Hillary. Don't make it muddy by having, like, it could be both sides or something like that, or have it where, like, to me, Hillary was in the wrong, and now you tell me, like, Jazz got to apologize. But like I said, that was kind of like in the grand scheme of things, these are kind of like minor quibbles, but if I'm watching popcorn TV, I at least need to be able to buy what's happening. And season 2 seemed to do a whole lot of telling me something different than what I was seeing. So, I don't know, a whole lot is a stretch. But having said all that, while I do find the issues to be minor, again, the show is entertaining, but that's the absolute best I can say about it. Like, you know, I have more fun cracking jokes on the Facebook page than I have watching it, but I do still enjoy watching it. If you want to watch it and it feels like up your alley, go ahead. It's not gonna hurt. Like, it's not a bad show by any means. Like I said, if it gets a 3rd season, I'm gonna watch it. And I'm not gonna watch it begrudgingly. I don't watch anything begrudgingly anymore. We're actually gonna end up talking about that later in this video, by the way. But yeah, I don't watch anything begrudgingly. If I don't feel like I want to watch it, I won't watch it. And I want to watch Bel-Air. Like, I enjoy it. So, but it's not one where I'm going to implore you to check it out. Like, if it sounds interesting, check it out. Like, if you go into it thinking that it's something that better than what I just described, then you're going to be disappointed. If you go in like, this is a good popcorn TV show to watch on a Friday night while I'm smoking weed and drinking my White Claws or whatever the fuck people drink, I don't know. Like, then yeah, go for it. You'll be fine. So moving on to beef. Yeah, see, I look out of focus. Like, I feel like it's not keeping me in focus as I move. I'll move less. Is there something on my head? No, I'll move less. Anyway, I'm glad this is for the patrons, so I don't have to be like too much of a stickler about how I behave. I can sit here and look at the fucking screen like, what's that on my head? But moving on, talking about beef. So, yeah, speaking of imploring you to check stuff out, I am going to do that with beef. I really enjoyed that show. Like, it's not going to make my top 10 only because I just know there's going to be 10 things better than that. But it's going to be an honorable mention, and it's not terribly far off from being a top 10. Like, so it stars Ali Wong, who I think most of you guys know as a stand-up comedian, who has recently dabbled into acting, and Steven Yeun, who I think we all know as Glenn from The Walking Dead, is the most easiest way to remind people who he is. They star as two people who get into we'll call it just like a road rage incident. And their shit just escalates to unprecedented levels of petty and back and forth and things that go far beyond pranks. Yeah, I'm going to fucking ruin your life. And I came in thinking this was going to be a show where my enjoyment would come from watching them one-up each other. Like, who's going to do the next... What's the next thing? What they're going to do is be worse than that thing. Oh, you did that shit? That was terrible. Oh, what are they going to do that's even worse than that? And while that is a large factor, it's not what made this show good. Like, they really did... What made it good is they really did some really good character work on this show. Like, I was really engaged with learning about why these people were so angry. Like, I said this on my Facebook comments when I was watching, but what makes this show good is learning how the problems in their personal lives, how they fuel and feed into this anger that they outwardly display toward one another, and then watching them let their beef and their anger consume them to a degree where now their thing with each other is now pushing people away from them in their personal lives. So it's like, how did your past influence who you are today? And now how is your behavior today fucking up your current personal lives and your current personal relationships and situations? And I found that to be really interesting. It's watching, like, these people have, like, serious breakthroughs. They have high ups, they have low downs. And it's not just petty get back at each other shit. So, like, I thought it was going to be that, and I was prepared for it to be that, and to think this would be good popcorn television. And it ended up being something much more than that, and I really appreciated it for that. Like, filling in their backstories and making these not just two randos who got into this situation and now they're beefed out because there's a point where it seems like the beef should be squashed. But we know these people, and we know their lives now, and we know that when certain information gets out, there isn't going to be any amount of goodwill that's going to prevent a catastrophe. So, like, all of that makes it way better when these things happen, the big things, when they go for these moments where they go after the other person or they go after these big character moments. These things land because they did a great job of filling in both of these characters' lives. Like, it's not just their beef with one another. Like, these are three-dimensional people with full lives. They have all kinds of other shit going on in their personal lives, with their jobs, with money, with their significant other, whatever. And the beef with the other person, it's like, it's just a feature. And I really like that about this show. I can't remember his relation. I think he was like a cousin or one of Glenn's character. But there was this secondary character named Isaac on here that I loved this character. Like, at first he was kind of weird. Like why is he so nice, and why does he have so much money? But like, I don't know, the character became really entertaining as the show progressed. Like, I really enjoyed that character. I also found the show to be surprisingly funny, despite the subject matter. But I came into this thinking it was going to be just, how big are they going to go pranking each other? But it turned out to be much deeper than that. So then you add in the fact that I wasn't expecting any comedy. And I got not only, like, I don't want to get comedy in a place where I don't expect it and have it be bad, because then it's like, now it makes it stand out more that I didn't expect it. It's like, why are you even putting comedy here in the first place? But if I don't expect it and it lands, it's really good. And I feel like this show had some actual really funny moments that landed. It was really good. And also it had one of the hottest fucking non-nude sex scenes I've ever seen. like dog, like that shit. I'm like, nary a nipple to be found, nary an ass cheek. And I'm like, yo, this sex scene is fucking hot. But yeah, Beef, man, that's a honorable mention for me. Rabbit Hole is the new show from Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland, I know the guy's name. It's not 24, and he's not Jack Bauer, but I mean, it's kind of 24, and he's kind of Jack Bauer. Like we keep it in a buck. But for the title, but the title of the show is appropriate. So it starts off with what appears to be a simple job of acquiring some sort of blackmail. Kiefer Sutherland and his team seem to be people who are hired to do kind of like borderline illegal, definitely amoral jobs, like acquiring blackmail. Like, hey, I need something on this person. Can you get this for me? And he makes these like elaborate setups and plans, like think like Lupin and shit, but without disguises. And he makes these elaborate plans to pull these schemes off. And it starts off with one of these simple schemes, but the plan quickly goes left. And from there on down, we just go down the rabbit hole of learning who all of these people are, what their backstories are, how they're connected to one another, how they're connected to this central mystery that ends up being about like user data and privacy. That's the kind of like the central theme of the mystery, and learning how the political push to make data public to a specific security company, how that ties in with all of these characters, and as we go down the rabbit hole and things get more complicated, finding out how all these things are connected. It was all really well done, really entertaining. And one thing that show does well is that it never bores you. Like, it's interesting and it's constantly moving. Like, you don't ever find yourself looking at your watch. You don't ever, like, this was one of the main shows where you just don't feel the length. Pause. You don't feel the length because, like, no matter how long the episode is, it always feels like it ended out of nowhere. Like, man, that was short. And that's an indicator of a show that's worth fucking watching, man. Because there are shows that I love where I'm just like, how much time left in this though? Like, because still, you just want to, like, it could be something where not a lot happens. But Rabbit Hole, it's always something happening in that shit. Plus, the female lead is fine as fuck. And then also, the guy who plays Tywin Lannister, Charles Dance, he's in this. My man who, I'm not even going to try to remember his name, but there's somebody else who I recognize who's in this too. But yeah, each episode, there's some sort of like a big set piece, like a major scam or a hustle or a heist that Kiefer's character and his little crew need to pull off. And those are always entertaining and fun to watch as well. Watching the central mystery unfold on this one was great. My only knock against this show, and it's not really a knock, it's it's the same thing that I said about Bel-Air. It's not really special in any kind of way. Like, it's fun, it's entertaining. You're always gonna be entertained. It's just a very like by the books kind of like espionage thriller. Like those kinds of shows, they're very structured. Like they might not seem like it because you swap out a storyline and you swap out characters, but the structure remains the same. And these shows tend to have like this one, The Night Agent on Netflix. Yeah, it does seem like every time I move, I go out of focus. Why is it not following me on my focus? I don't know. Seems like it's not following me on my focus. Anyway, I don't know. I don't like that. I'm not gonna bore you guys with it, but I need to figure out if I'm not locking the focus somehow. Like, is there a way to lock the focus? Anyway, I'm gonna figure that out before I put another video on the channel. But yeah, so this show, The Night Agent, which I'll talk about in a future Mike's Musings, several other espionage thrillers, they all kind of have the same structure, right? You got the male protagonist. Usually he's protecting a female love interest, because that's why they're all, like, they could make it a man, but then you can't be it. Then you can't make it a love interest because that'd be gay, and you can't have gay stuff on TV, right? So they have to have this female love interest, and like I said, they might start off as something different, but they're going to become a love interest. Every episode has like a self-contained mission. The Night Agent has the same thing, which, like I said, they're really good with here. This is not shade. I'm just calling out that it's very by the book structure. Every episode has a self-contained mission, ends with a cliffhanger, reveal, or a twist, and the mystery gets more complex each week. It's like, oh, you think you have, like each episode, they're like, oh, you think you have an idea what's going on here? Plot twist, you don't, and then it just gets more complicated. And like I said, I'm not trying to shit on it. It's a formula that works, and the show is enjoyable. It's just not like, oh my God, you've got to watch this shit. It's more like, you could watch this, or you could watch one of several other shows that are exactly like this, that star different people and have a different storyline, but it's the same kind of shit. If I had to recommend something of this caliber to you guys, or of this genre, it would be Slow Horses on Apple. Like, Slow Horses is the same type of show, but when I say that this isn't doing anything special, Slow Horses is. Like, Slow Horses is high-level espionage thriller. So these last two things aren't going to take too long. You, Season 4, and White House Plumbers. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. If I'm being honest, Season 4 of You was bad. Not like, oh, I didn't like it. You know how sometimes I'll try to mince words. Like, I'm not trying to shit on it, but I didn't like this thing. And that's true. I'm not bullshitting you guys. Like, I'm not going to say I'm not trying to shit on something. Because, I mean, I'll be trying to shit on something if I think it deserves to be shit on. And you deserve to be shit on. Season 4 was straight fucking bad. Like, it wasn't like, oh, it was kind of, no, I'm not, there's no, no, I don't want to, I didn't like that. No, Season 4 was fucking shitty. Straight up. At its best, this was never a good show. It was just, this is a fun show to watch and crack jokes at and tweet about on Twitter, like we're all watching you, and like, what's the next ridiculous, pervy, creepy thing that Joe is going to do that we can all laugh about collectively? That was the best. That was You at its best. So while the show wasn't all that good, at least it was entertaining, or you could have entertainment with the people online, whatever. However, in Season 4, they took a show that was already mediocre at best and relied heavily on banter outside of the show to persist, but it altered the show's best characteristic. The best part of You was watching Joe stalk women and be creepy and violent and kill them and then have to figure out how to get out of it. Like, that was the best part of You. In Season 4, they took away the relationship aspect altogether and made it so that, like, Joe falls in with this crowd of really uninteresting and unlikable characters, and he has to find out who's trying to set him up for a murder. So it's like, it becomes like this weird, like, whodunit kind of thing almost. And like, why would they remove the part of You that made everyone want to watch it? Like that's beyond me. Like, that was the thing that pulled us in. Like, why would you make it not be that anymore? But it's unsurprising that the next season will be the last one, given the quality of this season and the show as a whole. But like, the show is really basically like daytime soap caliber TV. You could watch a daytime soap in the daytime and then watch You at night, and you probably wouldn't feel any change in quality. You would be like, oh man, now I'm watching something really fancy. Nah, it's probably about the same shit. If the new characters on the show had been serious and they've been like interesting characters and serious characters, the season could have been salvaged. But the new characters are far and away the worst aspect of the show. Like, there's not even a single shining light. Like, well, this one character was good. No, they're all terrible actors. All the characters themselves were terrible. They felt like they were written by teenagers. It's just top to bottom bad. All obnoxious, douchey, unlikable people that seem like they wouldn't exist in real life. And it's like, when you have one of those kind of characters on a show, I hate it. Like, don't give me a character that I don't feel would exist in real life. This whole fucking cast is motherfuckers that seem like they don't exist in real life. Like, it's bad, man. Like, what a bad show. Even if you watched all the first 3 seasons of you don't bother with the 4th one. It's not even real. It's not even the same thing anymore. Like, don't bother with it. Not worth the commitment. I personally would not watch season 5. It's the last season. My wife is probably going to want to watch it, so we probably will, but I don't have any interest in watching that. The fact that I seem out of focus is really fucking with me, you guys. Like seriously, it seems like when I'm talking or moving, I'm blurry, and then if I'm still, then I'm back in focus again. But I'm just like, why is the focus not locking? It's really fucking bothering me, you guys. But fortunately, I only have a couple minutes left. White House Plumbers, last. I'm going to spend even less time on this than I did on you because I didn't watch this. I'm bullshit a little bit. Right? Like, well, how can you sit here and talk about a show you didn't fucking watch? Okay, so I watched the first episode. I might have watched the second. I'm not sure. But here's the thing. I didn't hate it or anything like that. I actually found the first episode to be moderately enjoyable. Like, the premise is that Justin Theroux and Woody Harrelson play these two guys that are essentially involved in the Watergate scandal, the Nixon thing. But the show is kind of like a dark comedy in that they're kind of like bumbling fools of agents, and Justin Theroux's character in particular is really hamming it up here. Like, he's doing a lot, and I don't mind it one bit. And it's hard to describe unless you see it, but it's like someone handed Justin Theroux the script and said, you can go as crazy with this as you like. And he was like, all right, cool, I'll do it. So why didn't I finish it, and why am I talking to you guys about it now? Well, whenever I'm trying to rank shows and I'm struggling between, like, say, which of 2 shows I want to rank higher than the other, like, oh, I like this one at number 4, but then this other one. What I do when I'm in that position, how I figure out which one I want to rank higher, my tiebreaker is how much did I anticipate watching this show each week? Silo, you guys, every fucking like week, I'm just like, is it time? Is it the day I can watch Silo yet? Like, it was like that. It's a really good way to determine how much you truly like a show or film or whatever, or just something in general, rather than letting public opinion tell you what you should think about it. Like knowing how much you anticipate something, that's really at the core of how you feel about something. And when it came time to watch a new episode of White House Plumbers, I could not have been less interested in watching it. It was like, I thought like, oh, I guess a new episode of White House Plumbers out. Let me watch that, get ready to, do my notes, get my video going, all that kind of shit. Then I thought about how little I cared to watch it and how I was kind of like making myself watch it for the purpose of recording a video. And then I was like, well, if I'm doing it that, then you don't like this show enough, pal. Let's not force ourselves. Because like I've told you guys a million times, it's a very large time commitment to do these videos when we're looking at the time I spend watching, which is always longer than the duration of the episode, the restructuring of my notes, the recording of the video, the editing of the video, the uploading of the video, all of that. We're talking, for every video, I've put maybe 3 hours worth of time into it. Why am I going to put 3 hours of time into something where I'm just like, let me go watch this now so I can make my video? Like, no, I need to at least want to watch it. So that's how I was like, that's why I stopped watching it, and that's why I put it in here, because I wanted to tell you guys that it was something that prompted that response in me. It was like, I didn't dislike it. I have moderate interest in it, but it didn't hook me at all. Like not at all. Like I didn't go like, yeah, let me see I can't wait to see what happens next. Like I was not motivated to go back to it. And if I got 18 other things that I'm motivated to go back to, why the fuck would I waste time on this? So that's how I felt about White House Plumbers. I'm going to try to figure out what the fuck's going on with my focus on here. And maybe you guys will watch this and be like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Maybe it's just something in my my remote monitor here. But I'm going to have to figure out this this focus lock because I don't like it looking like this, and I don't like having to keep looking down there. But I feel like every time I look down and I'm moving, it's blurry. But we'll see. I don't know. I'll see the quality of the video, and then I will see you guys next week for Mike Musing 6, and we will talk about the shows that I mentioned at the top of the video. So until then, peace.